What's up guys, Shadetree Surgeon here, and today we are going to try to make the Yamaha xs650 run. Now, I'm fairly certain we're not going to be able to make it run, but me and Jason are going to give it the old college try. One of the main problems when you look at the bike is it has zero wiring, and it also has no battery. No battery, no wiring, no problem. And I'm about to show you why. The reason I say no battery, no wiring, no problem is because of this guy right here. This is a Morris Magneto, and by putting this on the bike, we essentially allow it to run like a lawnmower. Needs no battery, needs no wiring. It will be kickstart only, but that's okay. It's a chopper. It doesn't have to have electric start. So let's see if we can figure this thing out. All right, so now we're gonna try to get this Magneto on the XS, and I'll tell you, Morris, they make great Magnetos, absolutely amazing stuff. Their instruction manual writing skills leave something to be desired, so we're gonna try our best to figure this out. Okay, the instructions say pin, but that's a little big to be a pin in my mind. That's a rod. That's a rod if I ever saw one. These are the instruction pictures you get. Beautiful. I'm not talking shit. Morris Magnetos, they're freaking amazing company. We're just stupid. That's the problem. All right, so it says to gut the cam cavities. So what we did on this side is once you remove the cam cover, there was this nut right here. So that loosened up pretty easily. And then that is just seems like it's spinning out. So yeah, go ahead. That's it, huh?
That's it.
Ooh. That's it, huh? That's all it's in there.
Looks like a Home Depot.
This looks like screw. This looks like it's from Home Depot.
Did that come off Ken's bike?
In the not too distant future.
Alright guys, that didn't exactly go to plan. I really wanted to try to get the bike started that day, but Murphy's Law kicked in and we ran up into another problem. So I stopped filming because I got really frustrated, and the reason I did is because I couldn't quite make the Morris Magneto fit on the bike. The instructions for it were really vague and strange to begin with, and it kept saying that there was a part on the left-hand side of the motor that was supposed to be there for it to fit on, but the part was not there. It clearly wasn't there, and it was in the instructions, and super frustrating to say the very least, because we just got this bike home, and the Magneto was pretty expensive. So, fast forward to some digging on the xs650 forums, and we found out that whatever dipshit built this stupid fucking cafe racer that a lot of people defended that guy, by the way. A lot of people were like, oh, you shouldn't talk shit about him, blah, blah, blah. Well, that motherfucker installed the camshaft backwards. Yes, apparently the bike will actually run with the camshaft installed backwards, just pretty poorly. So this guy was driving around this bike looking like a total shitbox, running like a total shitbox. I just thought the bike was running bad when we got it because of carburation issues. But no, it appears that yes, the camshaft was installed backwards, so we're gonna have to pull the top end off. Getting into the internals of this motorcycle, not really something I'm comfortable doing without supervision. Also, I'm just really not looking forward to it because you guys who've been following this from the beginning will remember that I spent all that time and effort getting this engine clean, cleaning off all that shitty black paint that was all over it and making it look really nice, and now I'm gonna have to fuck it up again. But oh well. Them's the brakes. Luckily, my buddy Dylan, who you guys will remember from my hair scramble races, is a Yamaha technician. So he's gonna come on over here and he's gonna look over my shoulder and supervise me while I take the top end off this bike and flip the camshaft around. And when I say look over my shoulder and supervise me, what I really mean is he's gonna watch me struggle feebly to do this till he gets frustrated enough to take over and just do it for me. So instead of this episode being about me just putting all the parts I spent all this money on the bike and having it run, it's gonna be about me pulling the motor back out of this motorcycle again. To say the least, frustrating, but that's just the way these things go. So let's get into it.
What's this kitty's name?
Boner Town.
Hey, Boner Town.
Big tough biker guy playing with kitties over there. What a homo. All right, here's the deal. So Usually people who come over and give me a hand, I give them Instagram shout outs and stuff. That's not the only reason they come over and help me, but Dylan doesn't have an Instagram, so why don't you go ahead and leave in the comments what you think his Instagram name should be, because he's having a hard time picking one out.
Dylan just comes for the beer.
Yeah, Dylan just works for beer and the power of friendship. Alright, pro tip from old Dylan here. He says before you pop into those big acorn nuts, you gotta make sure to pull the small ones off first. Why is that? Can you warp the head?
You can damage it, yeah. You can damage the bolts or the head. And that bitch is on there, huh?
Oh, again, we're pulling apart an engine that the dude who put it together put the camshaft in backwards.
Yeah, see that.
So
You don't really
I have
know.
no idea what we're coming into, what we're gonna see in here, man. All right, I thought I was gonna break something, but Dylan's a little more confident than me, so he's taking this.
Not my bike, brother.
Hey, wait a second. I said confident, not careless. I'm sure whoever did it did not use a torque wrench. They just fucking, yeah, impacted them fucking down. Cool.
Man, look at the size of them valves, boy.
Back when they knew how to make them. Big. Unnecessary.
Real big. Ooh, there's a little tiny bit of wear on this one in here.
Alright, so what's the verdict now? Dylan knows what to look for in this thing. What are we looking at?
See how these other ones right here? This one's very smooth. This one's smooth. This one's got a small flat spot in the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad though, and then this one's really smooth too.
So it's just one of them that's got a little bit of wear. What would you say? If you were taking this apart, would you be like, no way, that's got to be replaced, or what?
I don't know. I would never be taking it apart because it's so old, but I mean, that's probably why. See, actually, this one's got a very, very slight one. See that?
Yeah. You think it's because that cam was in backwards and you're running it like that?
Probably, yeah. You can almost see it a little bit on that last one, too, just barely.
Yeah.
It's old. It's fine.
Yeah, no. We're not building a performance machine here.
Also,
right?
you can account for the if it's a little slightly off of your clearance because of that, you can adjust here for that. I mean, it's not
okay.
It's not ideal, but
right. We ain't trying to set no lane speed records.
we're not going to the salt flats, boy.
Yeah, as long as we can go 70 miles an hour, we're happy. Using the magic toolbox here, we figured out that the cam chain tensioner's got to come out for us to do this, and I'm realizing now that I 100% would not have been able to do this without Dylan's help. Either that or we just fucked it up super bad. Oh, that whole assembly looks different, huh?
Well, this rod pulled out with his.
So just a real quick notation, when you're pulling the cam on, I don't know if this is a different year or whatever, the video we saw just had one nut holding everything on. The engine that I have had this whole plate holding in the cam chain tensioner. So just a little difference there because I couldn't find anybody talking about this. And the other guy that we watched literally just took this out, this part which was on the back of the engine, and it pulled out the whole cam chain tensioner. So if you took this out and you got the same year engine as I do, you gotta take this plate off too.
Well, no, the thing is we just don't know what your timing marks are, because there's a dot or line somewhere on your crank, and there's dots lines somewhere on your cam, and you know this has to be linked to this just in the right time, or else we got nothing going on.
Okay, this is a quick video on changing over to a PMA on how to find top dead center. What you're gonna want to do.
Yeah, dude, you'd be amazed at what how you could get down the road and still like open it up and be like, good God, that thing. I build them all the time, and I still don't. While I'm building perfectly good ones that all this shit's all right, I still am like, I can't believe these fucking things hold together, dude. For as long and reliable as they are.
Yeah.
Fucking R6 motor bouncing off of like 18 grand. Put that bitch together, and you're like, these parts look like regular engine parts, and that bitch fucking holds together. Yeah, the shaft. There's not a lip on the end of the shaft. I know it looked like it there, but so I wouldn't worry about that.
That little guy? Don't worry about that little guy. You want me to hold that chain so it doesn't fall in there?
No, it's okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
That would be a disaster. Oh, I'm sure we can fish it out. This is a little bit conjecture because we don't have a manual, but basically just from going online and figuring stuff out, what we found is that there's two marks on this engine. One is, you can see right there behind Dylan's finger. They say that is supposed to be at 12 o'clock. And then the other mark, which is, focus, right there, is supposed to be even with the top of the case. Then while your engine is at top dead center, if you have those two marks lined up in that order, then you should have the proper timing. That's what they're saying. This is going to be a little bit of a leap of faith. We're just going to stick it back together and see if she runs. All right, Dylan's giving me another tip here with this stuff that's called Yamabond. This stuff right here, it says, basically foolproof and will never leak if you install it properly. And in order to install it properly, the surfaces have to be, as Dylan puts it, immaculately clean. But if they are immaculately clean, this stuff will last forever. Way better than a paper gasket. Dylan's used this stuff a bunch. I'm going to go ahead and let him be the judge of what immaculately clean is. Well, that's about as far as we got before Dylan had to go ahead and take off. But we did get the camshaft flipped around, so it's sitting where it's supposed to be now. We think we also got the timing right. We're going off a couple of forums and a bunch of YouTube videos, which I like to call the magic toolbox because it usually has all the answers, although you have to decipher them a little bit. Anyway, the camshaft is facing the right way. That's the important thing. Come the next video, we're going to go ahead, we're going to put the whole engine back together, we're going to get it in the bike. Now that it's assembled properly, we should be able to make it run if it's going to run. I've prepared myself for the possibility that after all this time sitting, after all this shit, that the engine might actually need to be completely gone through. And if that's the case, I am going to go ahead and rephase it, which means taking it from a 360-degree firing order, you order a new crank, and it goes to a 270-degree firing order. It's much better, it makes for a way smoother running engine, but if I don't have to spend that money and I don't have to do that, I'm not going to. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if we can actually make this thing run. It is what it is. When it comes to building custom bikes, when it comes to building choppers, Murphy's Law is always in effect. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. It could be stripped bolts. It could be non-running engines. It could be bad welds. It could be a million different things. When you're building a bike in your garage, when you're doing it yourself, there's gonna be problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and show the problems right along with the good stuff. I count myself incredibly fortunate that I have friends who are willing to help me along the way. And there may be people out there who have built choppers and built cafe racers and built other custom bikes completely by themselves. I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna be one of those people. In my mind, choppers and cafe racers and bobbers and rat bikes and all these custom projects, these are a community experience. They're never done by yourself. They're done with friends, they're done over beers, they're done with laughs and good times and shared frustration and all of the above. And when it comes time for me to help somebody else, hopefully I'll be able to do that. And that might just be showing up with the beer and being a tool gopher because I don't have that much knowledge, but you bet I'll fucking be there to do it. So I'm incredibly thankful that I've got a friend like Dylan who's here to help me put it together together right. I'm incredibly thankful for Jason, who's been here to help me through since the very first day we started tearing this bike apart. I'm incredibly thankful for Eric from F&A Customs, who has completely put the frame together and has been incredibly helpful throughout this entire process and knowledgeable about where to get parts and what to do, and even in the design process, because that's a guy who knows what looks good. What I'm trying to say is this: it takes a village. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, that whole deal. That kind of support really helps me keep those projects going. And a special thanks, as always, to my Patreons, because without you guys, I would not for a second be able to make these videos with the regularity that I do. You guys are the ones that keep this channel going. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time, weirdos.